Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome to the 100th episode of the Straightforward Nothing podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Herrera. Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome to the very first episode of the Straightforward Nothing podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Herrera, and today, it's not going to be a very long episode. The first episode is something that I wanted to do to talk to you about something that's very near and dear to my heart. Something that has plagued me and has been kind of just motivating me in a negative direction, but also in a positive direction for many, many years. And that is procrastination. Procrastination is basically what happens when you think about doing something, when you want to do something, but you find any and every excuse not to get it done. Let's say you want to mow the lawn. Let's say you want to mow the lawn. You look outside. It's a beautiful day. Oh, but your favorite TV show's on. So you don't mow the lawn. Well, live TV isn't really a big deal right now because we all have Hulu or Netflix or Amazon Prime or DVR or On Demand or whatever. So is that really a good excuse or a good reason not to get something done? Well, it may be to you. And that's what procrastination is. It's something that is emotionally rooted in who you are. It stems from the ease of everyday distractions that we have. We have so many things we can focus on. We have so many things that pull us in each and every direction. We have so many things that can distract us. So many things that we can choose to do at any moment in time. But at the end of the day, it's what I just said. Things we choose to do. And most of those things are emotion driven. It's not like we have to cut the grass, because we really don't have to unless you care about property value, unless you care about the way your house looks like, unless you care about snakes. I don't know. But do we really have to mow the grass? No. Do we have to eat? Yes. Do you procrastinate eating? Maybe sometimes. But I'm going to guess that 99% of the times you don't procrastinate eating. I'm going to guess that close to 100% of the time, or 100% of the times, you don't procrastinate going to the bathroom when your body tells you you have to. So why do we procrastinate? Is it because we find other things more interesting? Is it because we really don't care about the things we have to do? I'm not sure. I'm not a behavioral specialist. But I am a human being that has lived on this planet for quite some time. And I know that I procrastinate because maybe I'm intimidated. Maybe I'm afraid to do something. We have a paper to do for school. We have a deadline. It's not like we can push it off indefinitely. But maybe we're intimidated. Maybe we're not sure what to write about. Maybe we know what to write about, but we think that what we're going to write, it's not going to be that good. So we become intimidated. So we procrastinate. So we procrastinate to the point where when we do figure it out, when we do act upon it, it's just not that good. Or it's rushed. And you can tell, others can tell that it's rushed, that it's not focused. And you know what? That's a very gray area. Because a lot of the times we will procrastinate so that we make sure that we turn in the most perfect and the most perfect results. We turn in what we put out is the most perfect result that we can produce. But at the same time, we may be so focused on putting out the most perfect concept that we don't put anything out at all. And that happens during the new year. New Year's resolutions. We want to work out. We want to eat right. We want to make friends. We want to call old friends. We want to start a project. We want to go back to school, leave our jobs and start a new job, write a book, start drawing, learn an instrument. We want to do all these things. But let's be real. All of these concepts are pretty intimidating, right? Starting a new job, diving into the unknown. I mean, it's not necessarily the call to the void, but it's basically just changing your life. Learning an instrument, that's changing your life. Learning how to draw or paint. Doing a podcast, that's changing your life. And it can be very intimidating. So maybe we just procrastinate it and push it off with the best of intentions, but do we get it done? And that's the problem. We let these inhibitions and we let these fears these restrictions fuel us. They fuel us in a kind of in a retrospect, or not a retrospect, a retroactive in a retroactive kind of direction. They fuel us to distract us. They fuel us to hinder us from moving forward. And that's not good. I mean, that's kind of an evolutionary trait. If you see a cliff, don't move forward. If you're standing on a beach and you see a shark in the water, don't move forward. These kinds of emotions, these kinds of inhibitions or restrictions are parasympathetic or sympathetic fight or flight reflexes, right? And not to get too deep into this, but we're kind of hardwired. We're programmed to procrastinate, even if it's in the smallest sense. But we don't really have, well, I say that, but us and most of us, a lot of us are very lucky, very blessed to not have to worry about being faced by our own mortality. A lot of us are very lucky that we don't have to really rely on those um, evolutionary traits to keep us alive, to keep us happy, to keep us healthy. But then that means we're left to our own devices. And if you allow that to take over you, if you allow those things, if you allow procrastination to win, it's going to get hard for you to do anything else because you'll fall into this sense of complacency and false happiness that kind of detracts from any wins, right? It kind of detracts from those feelings of victory, those feelings that you would achieve. Excuse me. There we go, raw. Those feelings that you would achieve when you actually pushed forward and did what you wanted to do and did what you had to do and did what you thought about doing and kind of pursued something. Letting that take over becomes hurtful. It starts to hurt your psyche, it starts to hurt you emotionally and cognitively. Like I said, I am not a neurobehavioralist or a neuropsychologist, or I have no credentials outside of healthcare management and respiratory therapy. This is not me preaching for you guys to seek some help. This is not even the whole point of this podcast. For episode 1, I wanted to dive into my kind of like my story, how long or what it took for me to get here. This is something that I've wanted to do for 5 or 6 years, and I've procrastinated it. I've always found a reason not to do it. I've always felt okay with not doing it. And it took too long for me to sit here and just be open and be fun and have a conversation with you guys and just talk about whatever. And honestly, those are the kind of concepts that I like to call straightforward nothing. They're things that we're constantly aware of. They're things that just constantly drive our everyday lives. They're within our focus. Things we think about, things we perceive, things we do, things we talk about. These are the things that we attribute too much emotion and thought to that really don't deserve it, really don't require it. And that's the concept behind straightforward nothing. Just to talk about everyday life, just to talk about pop culture, social media, things that we get all wrapped up in a tizzy about, things that bother us to our core, when in reality, if you never even knew that existed, it would have zero effect on your life. If we didn't know what procrastination was, if that was an emotion we didn't feel, it would have no effect on our lives. But it's something that we consistently attribute energy to. It's something that we consistently focus on, something that we consistently allow to kind of set us back. So that's what a straightforward nothing is. And that's what we're going to talk about during this series. We're going to look at things in the way that we probably should. We're not going to take things too seriously. We're going to enjoy our lives. We're going to enjoy life. We're going to look at things with levity, with humor, with optimism, and with the kind of emotion that just helps us rationalize in a way that we can see that things, for the most part, aren't that big of a deal. So thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you guys for helping me get past this initial nervous kind of like energy that I have because I'm very robotic right now. I've been working on this for a long time. This is a very raw, very real uh, glimpse into me and the way that I think. And I thank you guys for stopping by. I thank you guys for listening and watching. And I can't wait to see where this takes us. And I hope you guys stick around and maybe we just have some fun, okay? Y'all have a wonderful day.